Hello minifig customization enthusiasts and BrickForge fans, this is Armoth, and as you can see I have a lot to show you today because we are introducing the new BrickForge Hexibrix minifig stand. So as you know, we absolutely love creating custom minifigs, but we also like displaying and gaming with them too. Now we weren't very happy with the basic minifig stands that came with the collectible series a few years back. We wanted something a bit more versatile and stylish. Now, being fans of tabletop gaming, we were drawn towards the 1-inch spacers, more specifically the hex-shaped tiles that provided an early standard for gaming and maps. But 1 inch simply isn't large enough to accommodate a custom figure loaded with accessories. So I put together a 1-inch by 1-inch stand here just out of some plates and tiles. And here is the official one, which as you can see is 1 inch wide, but it's 1 1/4 long. So it gives you a broad enough area where when standing next to each other, your minifigs aren't going to be bumping shoulders. But if you were to put this on a 1x1, you can see that if you wanted to display a series of minifigs, you're going to run into problems here. There's just not enough room. So we went ahead and increased our size to 1 1/4 by 1 1/4, roughly, and proceeded to design a hexagonal stand that could snap onto traditional base plates. Now, traditional, equilateral, regular, whatever you want to call it, hexagons, sure, you can find a way for it to snap on there. But the problem is the distance that these studs are apart, you cannot create a repeatable sequence of those hexagons over and over again. It just doesn't work. So that proved a bit of a dilemma for us, but luckily at that time, there was a new piece that came out, this trapezoid plate. And as you know, trapezoids are half of a hexagon. And of course, this was designed to fit onto a base plate. And when you put two of them together, you create this irregular hexagon shape. But that is what was the inspiration for the Hexibrix footprint. And so now it could seamlessly connect to a base plate and continue a repeatable pattern. It also allows for stacking options too. Now, if you don't have base plates handy, we had another challenge. If you wanted to create a series of Hexibrix, you know, say you're displaying them on a shelf or you wanted to create your own gaming map, well, they couldn't quite sit next to each other. They're great, they're adjacent, but they're not staying. They shuffle around. We had to stop that. Now, a few years ago, HeroScape created a hex-based tile space that has these interlocking edges here, and they would just snap in, and you could create your own bases. Now, these are since being used by Magic: The Gathering, the board game. I think they're the exact same thing. And so we really like these interlocking tiles, these ridges, these male to female connectors. So our original Hexibrix design has those notches in it. And these are just 3D printed prototypes. And they could interlock together, and they'd create a bit of a stacking or a clicking noise. And the cool thing is they would still work with base plates. But one major flaw, they could not interlock once one was already connected to a plate. See, it just won't get in there. Ugh. You'd have to fight and fight and fight. So we went back to the drawing board, and well, not to mention these are a little ugly too. So we liked the way they connected, but they just weren't very aesthetic. So we devised an undermount interlocking piece on the right. It's called the Hexibrix. And so one of those connects two Hexibrix together, and you can create your little matrix this way. Ta-da! And then you can just drop your figures on here, or if you want to continue stacking, there's, I mean, a gazillion different ways to stack these. So each one of these Hexibrix comes with a link piece. And so you can buy these as an assembly, and you'll get the Hexibrix and you get one link piece. And you're actually going to get two other pieces, which we're going to get into next. Now, during the design process, one of our fans thought it would be a good idea to add a hollow core that would allow for the rotation of the object being displayed, so you can face it in different directions. We opted for a 2x2 round plate, and we're pretty happy with the results. Now, our most difficult choice was, do we give that 2x2 plate 2 studs or 4 studs? Now, while our focus is on displaying minifigs, several characters have a much wider base. Well, that's a pretty wide base there. So what we did is, in the assembly, we've included one of each. So not only are you getting the Hexibrix base, the Hexilinks, you are getting two 2x2 hexadiscs. That's what we're calling them. One has a 2-stud option and one has a 4-stud option. 4 studs great for displaying mocks and other brick belt elements. Now these can also be used independently as their own stand. You can see you can pose minifigs on one leg, running, charging, dancing, whatever. And they're pretty effective. And you know, if you ever want to just drop them back in there, just push them in, boom, and you're done. Now, because of the tooling process, some of the hexadiscs may fit a bit more snugly in other hexadiscs. So instead of creating our own tool to include in the assembly, we just recommend using some existing elements, and you can just turn them, spin them, pretty easy that way. Turn them, pull them out, put them back in. I like using this accessory that allows you to just poke in through the bottom and pop it out. Last, we felt that it was important to add 2 more hollow studs up top for secure connections, especially if you want to start stacking. They really do aid in the stacking process. If you didn't have those there, they might fit a little bit loose. But even cooler is you can add all sorts of little bits in there. You could add some terrain. In this case, I just added some of the minifigs, special tools and accessories. Personally, I enjoy adding little props to my minifigs to display them better. So the result is a very sleek and user-friendly minifig stand, and it really does have an array of other uses. I mentioned before mock stands. These just work great. So that's our introduction to the Hexibrix. I hope it gave you a bit of interesting information. And we will have a few more videos up in the Hexibrix series, so I encourage you to watch the rest of them as well, so you can use your Hexibrix to its fullest potential. Thanks, and we will see you next time.